Hello, trophies. Welcome to this What I Eat in a Day by yours truly, Trophy Sally. This is a follow-up to my The Truth About Macros video that I just posted on I Jump Instead YouTube yesterday. That will be linked in the description box below. That talks about the role of each macronutrient and how I strategize with the ratios of those macronutrients to be healthy, strong, fit, and lean, 15% body fat year round. So check that video out, and then this video will talk about what I eat in a day. So I want to start by saying that water is my highest priority. So I aim to get a gallon of water in every day. Sometimes it's 3 liters up to the gallon. And that makes me feel my absolute best. And then I also prioritize movement. I jump instead for my resistance training. I don't have to leave my house. I can build my muscles every single day on my rebounder at home. If you want more information on that, you can check out the description box below as well. And so hydration and movement, top priorities. And then this is what I eat every single day. And so I start every morning with water, and then I have a Nutri-Grain bar and a cup of coffee. So these are my Nutri-Grain bars, and then I have 18 ounces of coffee. I make 18 ounces of coffee. I mix it with Silk coffee creamer, and then sometimes I don't finish my coffee because 18 ounces is the max amount that I can drink without getting into a state of anxiety. And so I know that if I have 14 ounces of that and I'm satisfied, dumping out the rest is always a good idea. But if I want, I will allow myself to have the full amount because that's my maximum amount. And so I do love coffee every day. That's the only caffeine that I have for the entire day. And then when I start to get hungry for a meal, I make French toast. And I actually divide this French toast meal into 2 meals. I have it before my first work period of the day or yoga. And then I have it after that work period. And so it's typically 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll have my first French toast portion. And then my second French toast portion will come around 11:30 or 12. And so French toast for me is 1 egg mixed with some cinnamon and nutmeg and a little bit of Almond Breeze vanilla almond milk. And then I put about 2 pieces of bread into that egg mix. Sometimes it's just 1.5 pieces because these pieces are so big. And then I make beautiful French toast with that. And then I put a spread of Country Crock cinnamon honey butter on that. And I put maple syrup on it. And I put as much as my heart desires. And then I put powdered sugar on top of that as well. And so I have about half of that portion around 8 o'clock, and then I will work or go to yoga. And then when I'm finished with, typically when I'm finished with yoga, I'll have some Powerade because that will sound good. And so I'll have some. I don't always have the same amount. I just kind of drink as I desire. Sometimes I have juice. I'll come back from yoga and just have some juice. And so I just sip it if I desire it. And if I'm just working and I'm not sweating too much, sometimes I don't desire juice or Powerade, and I just sip water as needed. And then I get to my post-workout second half of my French toast. And so I will have that last bit of French toast with a protein shake because I love to have a milkshake every day. So I like the Orgain protein powder, and I mix it with 1 frozen banana and about 12 ounces of Almond Breeze vanilla almond milk. Sometimes I'll put a splash of water and ice into it just to kind of make it a little bit colder and a little bit more refreshing. But otherwise, I have that protein shake with the second half of my French toast. And this makes me feel amazing. And then for lunch, I like to have a burrito with chili beans and tortilla. So I actually have these wraps here These are the biggest wraps I've ever bought. I sometimes use these, sometimes I use smaller tortillas, and I like all types of tortillas. Sometimes I'll do whole wheat, sometimes I'll do white. And then I just buy chili beans, any kind of chili beans that look good and sound good. And I actually just open the cans up and put them right into this Tupperware, this bowl, so I can scoop them out super easy and fast and warm them up in the microwave. And then I can pan fry my tortilla, put it in there, and eat my burrito. Simple. Beans, plant cheese, which I warm in the microwave with my beans, and then I put that in the burrito. That's it. As simple as that. I tend to also like to have a beverage with my lunch. So sometimes it's apple juice. That's like a really great combo for a burrito. Apple juice, don't know why, that's awesome. Sometimes also I will have a soda, whether it's a Fanta or a Canada Dry Fruit Splash or a Sprite. And I always just go with how much my heart desires. And when I'm satisfied, I stop, and then I run on that energy. And that's a huge part of my success, is not just finishing my portions mindlessly, but instead being very present with my food and feeling how my food feels in my body. And then once my body is satisfied and I no longer have interest, then I stop, and then I run on that energy for hours. And so makes me feel really good to do that. And so also for lunch, sometimes I'll just have a big bowl of baked beans. I will just big bowl. I don't know how much the portion is. It's how much my heart desires. But this is just canned baked beans. And I put them in this bowl, and then I'll scoop them out, put them into a microwavable bowl, and I will just eat that for lunch. And if a beverage sounds good with it, I have a beverage with it. That is an awesome lunch for me. My dinners are a big variety of a lot of different things, to be honest, because I go camping often. I go out to eat here and there. When I cook at home, I sometimes will have French toast for dinner. Sometimes I have cereal for dinner. So I actually brought my cereal out here. I've got frosted mini wheats. I've got Frosted Flakes here, and my recent favorite, Apple Jacks. But I want to say that the only reason why I'm having cereal for dinner is because I'm being lazy. If I am really taking good care of myself, I'm having something more wholesome. And so I just feel that all those nutrients in my body, they make me feel better than just a quick bowl of cereal. But this is like backup plan type of food, right? The cereals. But on an ideal day, I would have some rice. So I have some rice here that I buy from the store. These two are just the latest that I've tried. I like to try different rices that I buy at an Asian grocery store. And these are something I like to have with my rice, vegetable spring rolls. I'll have like 4 of these with my rice. Sometimes I just have rice by itself. Sometimes I have beans with my rice. And so again, there's no set dinner that I have. I also like to have pizza, and I make my own pizza. I make my own dough, and then I put marinara on the pizza with some mozzarella, plant cheese, and some tomatoes. Making pizza is really, really easy, and so I can share that with you really quickly as well, the recipe for pizza. And then I also have these shredded country-style potatoes in the freezer. And every now and again, I'll put some of these in my air fryer and I'll have them at random, very random, just because I love to have variety in the fridge and the freezer. And then throughout the day, if I'm ever feeling snacky, I can always just go in and look to see what I've got. Something sounds good, I'll make it. I also like ramen. I'm gonna go get the ramen for you because I didn't bring it out. So I buy these ramen packets. They're Koyo. Just like that. This one is garlic pepper, and then I also have tofu miso. I will have 1 or 2 ramens or 2 ramens for dinner, or one with something else for dinner quite often, to be honest. And then that's pretty much it. I love going out for sushi. I love going out for Mexican food. I love eating plant burgers and brats when I go camping. I love what my boyfriend makes me, which is all sorts of plant-based recipes. I actually have some recipe books here that I have loved. The Buddhist Chef is one of them, and Thug Kitchen is another one. And I've gotten lots of recipes from these books. And so these are my dinners. Lastly, to complete the full what I eat in a day, I do very often have a bowl of cereal right before bed. That just sets me up for a really good night's sleep. And so I love Apple Jacks. I love them so much. And Frosted Flakes and Frosted Mini Wheats. And I go with what sounds the best. And I have it with my Almond Breeze Vanilla Almond Milk. And so this is my what I eat in a day. I hope that it helps you. And I hope that you learn something from how I eat and how I approach my food and my macros, and so that you can potentially apply this to your diet and get started with eating this way as well, so that you can start to feel better and you can start to feel healthier and stronger and more energized and reach your trophy body goals, because that's my goal for you. So I'm so happy to make this what I eat in a day video for you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and comment below if you have any questions. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Really quick too, I didn't want to forget the pizza recipe. So I take 2.5 cups of bread flour and I mix that with 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I take 1 cup of warm water and 1 teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of dry active yeast. And I stir that up and let that activate for 10 minutes. And then I put that into the 2.5 cups of bread flour and I stir it. And then I put a towel over it and I actually put it in my oven with the oven light on. And I let it sit in there for 2 hours or so, 1 to 2 hours. Then I take it out and it's risen. And so I take it out of the big bowl and I put it onto a cutting board and I roll it into a big circle pizza dough. And then I put it onto my pizza stone and I bake it in the oven for 5 to 6 minutes at 500 degrees. Then I take it out and I put my marinara and my tomatoes and my cheese and my basil on the pizza, and then I put it back in the oven for 5 to 6 minutes and it's done. And that will make 3 meals for me. I'll have 2 big pieces right away and then I'll put the rest into the freezer and have leftovers. And so I hope that you enjoy that pizza recipe for yourself. Okay, bye-bye, trophies.